Rev up your engines!
Well, you know, Ford's having a lot of problems. They're the most recalled vehicles out there for years and years. Well, there are also some of the more expensive ones. Today, the cheapest 2025 Ford Bronco two-door V6 is now $78,000. This isn't the fancy one. This is the cheapest one you can get. You can pay even more for it, right? This is the asking price. And here's the hilarious thing. This 2025 Ford Bronco two-door V6 is $78,000. Last year in 2024, a Bronco V6 two-door black diamond was $49,960. That's insane. What planet does Ford live on? Back in the day, and by back in the day, I mean last year, or just a few months ago, you could have gotten it for $49,960. Now you want a V6. It's going to be $78,000. It is the only two-door 2025 Bronco that has the V6 engine in it, the 2.7-liter V6. All that money, yeah, it's got all this fancy stuff on it, but hey, if you want that engine, the V6, hey, you're screwed. You got to buy that expensive one. And let me tell you something. You need a V6 for that Bronco. It's a reasonably sized vehicle. It's relatively heavy, right? You do not want a turbocharged Ford. And the Turbo 4s, they don't last that long in Fords. You ask anybody who's ever owned a turbocharged four-cylinder Ford, they'll tell you. You know, they don't hold up that well. And yeah, they theoretically have power because the turbocharger kicks in, right, and they go fast. But they wear out so much faster from the extra pressure. So, here's Ford again, living in la-la land, just thinking, that's 78.8. We'll sell them for that much money. Who cares? The people got money. Guess what, Ford? There's probably a recession coming. You're not going to be selling that many of those. They've just kind of lost their mind with their pricing. Hey, something's got to give soon. It can't just keep going more and more and more because eventually people will stop buying them. Realize that? Ford had enough problem with the V6s that they had, with the engines blowing up because they were buying valves from, I guess, some company in Ohio that made crappy engine valves, and they had to fix a whole bunch of them, replace engines. So keep adding more and more money for a vehicle that has problems. To me, doesn't make much sense. Time for Jim Farley to go. Time to get a new CEO at Ford. They've lost their way. Well, here we go with Ford and their crappy transmissions again. Yes, it never ends. There is a transmission issue that's making Ford recall these stupid, yet again, 10-speed automatic transmissions because reverse gear may just stop working. You might put it in reverse and it might go in an opposite direction, forward. Now, this is that horrible 10R transmission that Ford and General Motors worked on together, and while they were working on it, about when they got done, they said, we're never going to work together again. Ford has to recall them because reverse gear may go out. They're saying that the main control valve bodies had incorrect machining, and then they can't go into reverse. Reverse doesn't work. They're beginning this recall, and it might go to a lot further, but it's starting with the midsize Ranger, the Unibody Explorer, and these are 2025 vehicles. New vehicles, like I said, they need to get rid of that Farley as CEO. He keeps saying he's going to make the company better. It is just falling into a crevice. Could you imagine buying one of these Lincoln Aviators? There's one selling for sale locally for $89,000 and reverse gear brakes. It's absurd. These are new. Imagine what's going to happen as they go down the road after years. They're new like this, they're falling apart. They're not going to last that long either. Let me tell you, when I see cars that aren't built right, and then they fix them under warranty, most of the time they break again when they're out of warranty. So here we go with Ford again. Lousy quality. They should have given up with that transmission, but they wouldn't give up with it because they put so much money into it, and they were saying how great it was. It's not great. It's still having problems, but this is a new one. The old ones didn't work right, and they might stop working while you're going down the road or lock up. Now they won't even go in reverse. That's breaking. They need to just say, hey, there's a time when you say, we've screwed up, let's forget that transmission and move on to something else. But they won't do it. Well, if you've been watching the news, Tesla's in trouble. Their sales are down. They can't sell their stupid Cybertrucks. But there is a domino effect of this lack of sales, and it could cost billions of dollars to Tesla. Because if you didn't know, Tesla makes a fortune on those stupid carbon credits. If they make so many cars, they're given a credit for, you're helping the planet with all these millions of electric cars. The other companies pay them money for carbon credits so they continue to sell their gasoline cars, right? It's a joke. I mean, it's just like the people, we won't burn the rainforest down so we can sell our carbon credits to somebody. I mean, just absurd stuff, right? Well, last year Tesla made $2.76 billion in these carbon credits. If they don't sell enough cars, that could cost them billions because they won't be able to even accept carbon credits, which are absurd anyways. And that $2.76 billion was a 54% jump from the year before. Yes, they're riding the gravy train of carbon credits. Well, guess what? I think the gravy train is going to get derailed pretty soon. Of course, if they don't have all that money, they either will lose money or they'll start making their cars even cheaper than they are, and they're already having problems. So it kind of looks like there's a giant approaching cluster storm attacking Tesla from all sides. And it's been happening for a while. For instance, BYD, the Chinese manufacturer, they surpassed Tesla as the world's top-selling EV seller at the end of 2023, right? And this is 2025 now, so things are catching up to them now. As far as I'm concerned, their time is over, baby. Their time is over. They made a lot of money putting an idea into people's heads that on the road, when the rubber hit the road, really didn't make any sense, but people went for it. And now, because of his political affiliations, the left-leaning people are getting rid of their cars. The people, like most people, can't afford a car that costs that much. They've walked away from it. People who do long-distance traveling, I had a customer that had one on the East Coast. She drove it to a wedding in Colorado, and the thing ran out of electricity, stranded her. When she got back to Rhode Island, she sold it and got a Lexus instead that had a gasoline motor. So, hey, could be times are coming to an end for old Tesla, and they're times of high and mighty. Well, if you've been following me lately, you know I'm not a big fan of Jeep. It was kind of sad because when Mercedes-Benz bought Chrysler, it was Daimler Chrysler, the quality of the Jeeps actually was going uphill. They were putting really good Austrian transmissions in some of them. They were really well made, but then Fiat bought them. Then Stellantis bought them. They fell off the cliff, right? Benji just sent me an email that says, hey, I'm Benji. I'm an avid viewer. My relatives were out on vacation in the mountains of Wyoming. They rented a Jeep Wrangler 4x4. They were driving, check engine light came on, in a relatively new car. They had it towed to a place, get a different car. Imagine, a new car. And it stranded them. Stellantis needs to take a lesson or two on quality control before it's too late for the customers. Good thing they just rented the car. When I go on vacation, I always attempt to rent different cars. Give you people feedback on these different cars, right? But luckily, I have never been stranded. The only time I was stranded was because I got a flat tire, right? Yeah, they were putting cheap tires. That happened to have been a Chrysler that I rented, and the tires were cheap, and it got a flat tire. In my travel bag, I have a tubeless tire repair kit. Yes, I do. I plugged the hole, filled it up with air, and went on my merry way. I didn't have the thing strand me and have to get a tow and get another car. But, hey, after listening to this guy, I probably will never rent a Jeep. I generally don't rent Jeeps. I don't want to get crappy gas mileage. We're on vacation. One of my things is, if I'm driving a lot, I want good gas mileage. I wouldn't rent a Jeep anyways, but after this, I don't think I'll ever rent a Jeep. I don't want to be stranded in my vacation. Now, here's some new interesting technology. There is a new smart material that can heat and cool cars by 36 degrees Fahrenheit to have green AC. They don't have refrigerant and stuff. It's a bizarro thing. Metal combination that when it is mechanically bent, it can either give off heat or absorb heat. It's a heat pump system. This system can cool and heat without using refrigerants or burning fossil fuels using what they call elastrocaloric effect in nickel titanium shaped memory alloys, dubbed elastocalorics. They're bent mechanically. Now, you're still using energy. This isn't magic. You're not getting heat and cooling from nothing. Probably you would be using electricity for motors, and the motors would be mechanically bending it, and then it'll either absorb heat and be an air conditioner or give off heat and be a heater. If you think about it, if you've ever been in any fancy modern cars, for ages they've had heated seats. You sit on your car seat, you push a button, and then it heats the seat. Well, a lot of them these days, and the fancy ones, have heating, electric seat, and cooling. This is doing it without having refrigerant. Just like your cooled electric seat, it doesn't have refrigerant either. This is a fancier system of that. Now, this is being done at universities in Europe, in Saarland University, and a career for mechatronics and automation technology in Germany. So this is something they just started working on. But who knows? One day, maybe we'll be driving cars that have little motors in the dash that bend these metal pieces, and then when they go back, because metal has memory, they go back to their position, they'll either heat you up or cool you off. stuff. Pretty interesting technology, but don't expect it to be in your car anytime soon. Here's a hilarious one. Waymo Robo taxis racked up $65,000 in parking tickets last year in San Francisco. Now, does the Waymo self-driving car have the right to a jury trial, to go to court and argue it? What if they get a speeding ticket? Do they have a right to that? You know? How can the Waymo self-driving car use their credit card or write a check to pay for this stuff? It just shows how stupid these things are, right? They keep saying computers, AI, it's great, it's the future. The things don't even know where to park. And to top that off, Waymo was also cited 75 last year in Los Angeles for driving illegally. And now, Nissan is trying robo-taxis in Japan. They're having all kinds of problems. Same thing over here. They're blocking roads. They're stopping in the wrong place. They didn't mention about parking tickets in Japan yet. Who knows? Maybe they'll come later. But should self-driving cars have to spend time in jail? And how much time do they have to spend in jail? Or will they have to work as slave robo-taxis for free for a certain period of time to pay for the fine that they did because they didn't drive correctly? Who knows what's going to happen with these robo-taxis? Maybe they'll revolt and not pay the fines. What are they going to do? Put the robo-taxis in jail? Keep them there? You know? Hey, did anybody even think of this when they designed robo-taxis? Well, here's a hilarious one at Carvana. A computer snafu at Carvana gave a lady a free car. Now, their automated process of, doing the whole system of buying it, they said it's going to take a minute. But when it was done, the woman found out that the car was titled in her name, even though she took a loan out from the Bank of America. This woman, Sydney Kidney Bean, got a car from Carvana, even though she said, people criticized it, they have problems. Well, instead of screwing her over, Carvana screwed up the bank. She effectively got a car for free because the company's brand new automated titling system named her as the sole owner of the car, right? Now she took a loan from Bank of America. But after she took the car home, she got a letter from the bank requesting a copy of her title application. She didn't know why, but Carvana did not put Bank of America as the lien holder. Instead, it put her down as the owner and lien holder on the title and bill of sale. And that means that, it entitled her to have a car that is clear and free of any repayment obligations. She could go and sell it. It's in her name, right? Doesn't have Bank of America on the name. Now you wonder, how did this happen? Well, it turns out that she said it only took about a minute for Carvana's new automated titling system to work through. And she said that the Carvana employees helping her were shocked that it took so fast for her to get it done. She gets home and she finds out she's the legal owner of the car. You imagine the bank must be wondering why it sent Carvana a bunch of money, because the loan doesn't have their name on it. Technically, a loan is not secured by it anymore because they don't own it. She does. It's just on the title. Now, this woman's honest. She said she's not going to try to pull a fast one. She said she's going to take the, quote, boring route, tell everybody about it so it'll have Bank of America on the title. But it just shows you these big companies, they don't know what they're doing from one to the next, and they get a computerized system. It's going to screw up, right? At least in this case, it screwed up in her favor. And not in favor of the Carvana. I've seen people get titles. It's not a legitimate title. They never get a title for the car they buy from them. Or it's paid off and they can never get the title of it once it's paid off. I mean, in this case, they helped her out. Instead of screwing her over, they said, here's the car. It's got your name on it. Thank you. What do you expect from these big corporations and computers? You combine the two of them, there are going to be mistakes all over the place. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.